Hello and welcome to this challenge series of the CKA exam questions. So this is the part 10. We already have a part 1 to 9 of the CKA exam questions in which we have three sets for each part have different level of complexities. Okay, so we are going to discuss the three question in this part also. This is the 10th part, and before that I would like to thanks all my viewers and subscribers because this channel reached 10,000 watch hour, okay, in only in a 9th month duration. So this is a very exciting news for you guys that this channel is going good in with the contents as well, and the people's gathering also. So now I am moving to the first questions of this challenge sets. So in this is the challenge number 1. It have the weightage of 5. So in this, what is you have to create? You have to create a deployment called nginx deploy. This is the name of the deployment, and you have to use the image nginx, and the tag is 1.16, and you have to create a 8 replica. Okay, so this is the scenario that we have to create, but there are 5 worker node in the cluster. So there is a 5 worker node cluster in the Kubernetes environment where you have to do a deployment with nginx deploy, and the image you have to use is 1.16 tag of the nginx. Okay, and please make sure no pod will get deployed on two worker node mentioned below, worker node 1 and worker node 2. So the pod that you're going to deploy, which is the part of the deployment, gets scheduled as per the API scheduler in any of the worker node. But there is some criteria that you have to meet, that none of the pod will get deployed in worker node 1 and worker node 2. There is a note as well: revert any changes that you did in the cluster. If you did any changes in the cluster to make this feasible, then you have to revert this as well before leaving the cluster. So you can achieve this scenario in a different way. There is no restrictions that you have to use this one or this one. Okay, so think about it, that how can you going to achieve it. You have to deploy 8 pod, that is the part of the deployment, but none of the pod will get deployed into the worker node 1 and worker node 2. Okay, so we will look into this into the lab session, how we can going to achieve it. So now jumping to the lab session. So in this particular challenge questions, we have to create a deployment with the name nginx deploy with the image and 8 replica, but there is some problem that we don't need to deploy the pod into the worker node 1 and worker node 2. So this can be achieved in a different way. What we are going to perform, we are going to perform that we will call down that particular nodes, node 1 and node 2. So first verify this. You see here, get node, how many nodes we have available. Okay, this is the 5 node cluster as per the question. Okay, so now we are going to cordon for node 1 and node 2. Okay, so this is the temporary, but if you want to be a permanent solutions, then you can apply a tint on the node. Okay, but this is for the exam perspective, CKA exam perspective, and marking the node as a cordon will be a very easy and faster way. Okay, you see here, cordon worker node 1. You see here, two as well as per the question. So you can see that the status is ready, but the scheduling is disabled. So there is no chance that the pod will get deployed into the worker node 1 and worker node. Now we are ready to do a deployment with whatever suggested in the question. So you can use the imperative way also and the declarative. It's depend upon the you. If you are preparing for the CKA exam and this is the question in the exam, then you should have to be familiar with the imperative command. That is the first approach. But in the organizations in which you are working, always use declarative. Imperative way is not a good approach. Okay, so I'm using the imperative way and also suggesting you how you can use the declarative way as well. QCTL create deployment. What is the name of the deployment? Is Nginx. It's Nginx deploy. Okay. What is the name of the image? It is Nginx. Tag is 1.16. It's have the replica of it. Okay. So this is the thing that you have to create a deployment. The name of the deployment is Nginx deploy. Image that you are going to use is 1.16 and you have to create the 8 replica. Let me copy this so that we can use it further. If you want to create use it through the declarative way, then you have to put here the try client, try run is equal to client and for output of element, put the replicas. I think Okay, so this will give you the specifications file. You can copy till here. Okay, and create a YAML file and do a deployment. But I'm using the imperative way, and which is good for the exam as well. So I'm pasting the copied command. Okay, so I think I did some mistake. No issues. I copy it again so that I don't have to write it all the command again. Let me write it here till here. Copy, and then I'm going to paste it here. So this is the imperative in kubectl create deployment. Name of the deployment. The image that we are going to use is 1.16. The replica is 8. Sorry, again the same mistake. We haven't seen here the word replicas. Okay, so it will create a deployment. Now I'm going to check it. Get deployment. So you can see that currently none of the deployment is ready. Okay, let me put watch. So you can see that the code out of now the 8 out of 8 is ready. Let me connect this to CTL get pod. Okay, so all the pod is currently running 8 by 8. Okay, now I'm going to check it using the wide options. So you can see that none of the pod get deployed into worker node 1 and worker node 2. So it looks fine as per the question. And the question is also asking to revert any changes that I did in the cluster. So now I'm going to uncorden it to CTL uncorden worker node 1 and CTL uncorden worker node 2. CTL get no. Okay, so you can see that worker node 1 and worker node 2 is now in the ready state. So you can schedule any pod. So I reverted my changes, but currently all the pod uh, is deployed into all the worker node except 1 and 2. Okay, so this fulfill this question. Okay, this is the challenge number 2. Okay, this also have the similar weightage. create a replica set. The name of the replica set is webpod. Image that we are going to use the same image in the next tag is 1.16 with the 3 replica. Okay, so this is the very straightforward questions that you have to create a replica set and all the things are already provided, but there already a pod running in the cluster. There you can find that already there is a existence of one pod in the cluster, and now it's saying that please make sure that a total count of pod running into the cluster is not more than 3. Okay, so you have to think about it how the replica sets work. If you didn't know about the replica set working scenario, then you can refer my video on the replica set and you have a better understanding, because it's work on the on the labels. Okay, so you have to include that pod as well. This is the feature of the replica set that makes a difference with the replication controller. Replication controller don't have this feature and the replica set have this feature. So you have to make sure that you create a replica set with all the description provided, but there is already a pod running, and the pod inside the cluster should not be more than 3. Okay, so now we are going to jump into the lab sessions so that we can better understand it. Okay, so in this question we have to create a replica set. The name of the replica set is webpod, and the image that we have to use is the nginx. Tag is 1.16 and the replica is 3. But there, as per the question, there is already a pod running in the cluster, so we need to verify it first. qctl get pod. Okay, so one pod is already running, and we have to create a replica set for the and the 3 replicas we have to create. But as per the questions, finally the total count of the pod will be in the cluster is only 3, not more than that. So we have to you know that the replica sets have the matching selecting criteria as per the labels. As per the label, replica set identified which particular pod is associated with the which replica sets. Okay, so we have to either we changed this particular demo pod as per the replica set, or we will build a replica set as per this demo pod using the label. So better we will create a replica set by looking into the labels that is already defined for the demo pod. So for this, kubectl get pod. So labels. So you can see that we have to create a replica set with app is equal to web. Okay, so when we create a replica set with the 3 replica using this label, this particular pod will be managed by the replica set only. Okay, so in that case, the replica set, we create a replica set for the 3 replicas, but finally replica set will create only 2 replica, and this one it includes into that particular replica set. So all the 3 pods, 2 that is created by the replica set, and 1 this is already exist will be the part of the replica set. So finally we have 3. Let's see how we can do it. So I created one file here. This is the rs file. So you can see that this is the replica sets. You already familiar with all these things, the API version kind, and here you can see that I'm using the replica set my rs. Okay, so this is the replica set. For this we can change it to the as per the questions, that is the web pod. Okay, so we modified it, but for the labels, this doesn't make any sense. This is the label for the replica set, but these two, one is the matching label and other one is the pod that is the part of that particular replica set. This both should match always. Okay, and why we assign this label web is equal to app is equal to web, because we have already a pod which have the app is equal to web. So when we create a replica set, this particular pod which is currently standalone will be the part of the replica set. Okay, so now I'm going to deploy it. kubectl apply -app rs. Okay, so replica set get created. ctl get rs. This is the short code of the replica sets. Okay, there might be some problem with the cluster. So previously we didn't get any output, and currently we are getting desired is 3. Okay, because we defined the 3 replica set here. Okay, so by this particular manifest file, 3 pods will be the part of this particular replica sets. Okay, so now I am going to see how much pod it gets created. You sit here, get pod. So you can see that this 2 pod gets created by the replica sets, and this one is also now is the part of the replica sets. If I remove this one, okay, then it will automatically, replica set will automatically create a 1 pod, or either any of the pod I will remove it from this environment. It automatically replica set will create. So all the 3 pods will be now the part of the replica sets and managed by the same replica sets. Okay, because we handle it through the labels, and only this way the replica set identify its own pod. Okay, so I think we successfully completed this lab, and now we don't have to do any changes. We need to just come back from that particular cluster to look into the other question. Okay, now this is the challenge number 3. It's also have the similar weightage. There are 3 nodes in the cluster. So in this particular scenario, cluster have the 3 nodes. You have to create a daemon set. Okay, the name of the daemon set is my pod using the simple nginx. Don't have any tag on each node except one. So the daemon set, what is the feature of the daemon set? That it get deployed into the all of the worker node. Okay, and if the some worker node gets added into the cluster, then automatically a daemon set will create a pod, a single pod into that particular node as well. So you have to think that how can you restrict, okay, a daemon set to get deployed as a pod in a particular worker node 3. So now I'm going to jump into the lab session to demonstrate this challenge question. Okay, so in this question, the challenge number 3, there is 3 nodes. Let's verify it. QCTL. So we have 3 worker node available here. We have to create a daemon set. Okay, the name of the daemon set is my pod, and the image that we have to use is of nginx. The daemon set have the functionality that it will create a single pod in each of the node, but and as per the questions, we have to restrict it for a particular worker node 3. Okay, so in that case, we will apply a taint. Only this we have comes in the mind when we are creating. We are restricting a particular pod to be get deployed into a particular node. So we will going to apply a taint, and then we will create a daemon set, and then we are going to deploy a daemon set so that it can deploy a pod in each of the node except the worker node 3. So to apply a taint, kubectl taint node worker node 3, and you can mark it taint as with any of the key value, like for example environment is equal to qa. If you don't have any idea regarding the tent, you can refer my videos on tent as well. Okay, so the tent now get applied. You can verify it as well. CTL describe node worker node 3, and then you can grep the keyword tent. So this will give you the information. So tent is already applied into that worker node. So now we have to create a daemon set. Okay, so I already have a manifest file. We created the specification file for the Daemon set. You can see it's similar as the deployment. The only thing is that we can change the key, and the kind is the daemon set here. Okay, and all the places are labeled, the name of the pod is the same, and it will also have the selector matching labels, so that it will by this basis is identified that we have to create a single pod only, and we don't have the replica because it by default it's have the one replica, so that it can deploy into a single node, a single pod. Okay, so we have already applied the tint. The image we are using Nginx as per the uh, question, and the name of the container is also engineer. So now I'm going to deploy it. Ls. I will copy the name here to CKA apply minus f, and now pasting the daemon set. So it will create a daemon set except the worker node 3 because we already applied a tint for the worker node 3 to CTL get ds, the short form of the daemon set. So you can see that it applied created only two. So desired is now two because we have the three worker node, but one worker node have the tint applied. So now the desired is two, current is two, ready is two, and available is two. So let's verify it. Get pod or wide. This gives us the node information. So you can see that the worker and the pod, which is the part of the daemon set, okay, get applied, get deployed into the worker node 1, worker node 2, not in the worker node 3 as per the question. So this fulfills the challenge number 3. Thank you guys for all the motivations. Okay, and please subscribe to my channel if you didn't it yet, and gives me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, and if you have any suggestions so that we can improve this channel content, please put a comment in the comment box in any of the video. I will try to improve this, and keep learning, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching this channel.